Hi, I'm Erin, and today we're going to talk about your most commonly asked questions, the ones that I get across my different social media channels, including LinkedIn. So I get lots of messages and I go and talk to lots of people and I get common themes of questions. So I picked 5 for this video and we're going to jump right in. All right, and I've got them right here. So I'm going to read them off and then, I'll answer them. So let's dig in. What is good communication? So this is saying or do something in the most effective way possible. So it's important to keep in mind that different people like communication in different ways, and there are ways of doing communication more effectively and less effectively. So you could be efficient without being effective. So getting through all of your emails and replying back to everybody in a given day may not be good communication, and here's why. You may reply back to an email answering exactly the thing that somebody has asked you, but that only then sits in their inbox. They look at it and they have yet another question to come back to you with, and then this volley of emails back and forth continues for a few hours or a few emails or a few days, and it's very frustrating for the person that you're replying to constantly have to come back. So in that instance, effective communication is thinking about what the person is really trying to get to or understand, answering their explicit question, and then as concisely as possible answering what you think they're actually after, so that you can cut to the chase, if you will, right away. Or if you see that there's starting to be a volley of emails back and forth, pick up the phone and call them, walk across the office and call them. If you need to involve a few more people, have a quick meeting. This isn't scheduling a recurring meeting on the calendar to constantly talk about things at some given frequency. This is quick, spot, get it solved, get it sorted out. Body language is another way of communicating. So even if you are being great with your words or your emails or things like that, if you're coming across physically in a way that doesn't resonate with all the rest of the communication that you're doing, then that'll stand at odds with it, and you'll kind of be classed as not a great communicator. So a couple of things to think about. There's much more to dive in there, but if you're just thinking about what is good communication, I would start there. All right, question number 2. How did you get to where you are in your career? So I get this is probably the most frequently asked question that I get. I get it at least 3 times a week, at least. And I don't think it's actually the question that anybody really wants an answer to, because if I tell you how I got to where I got in my career, my story is unique to me and your story is unique to you. And if you ask 10 people, they're all going to give you very different answers. So here's the thing that instead of actually answering that question in this video, here's the thing that I want to reflect back to you. Ask yourself, why is it that you want to know how I got to where I got in my career, or how somebody else got to where they got in their career? What is it about where you're at in your career journey right now that has you stuck, frustrated, lost, etc.? And what hurdle are you trying to overcome, or what hill are you trying to see beyond? And think about what is the question that would unlock that, because that's actually your next step. It's not me doing a monologue for 10 minutes on how I got to where I got in my career. And once you've got that, feel free to reach out to me on any of the socials and ask me your actual question instead of this question, and I'll be happy to dig in further. All right, question number 3. Where do I start when I'm looking for a job? Depending on where you're at in your career. So if you are coming out of college or university and you're a senior, or you've just graduated, or you are a junior this year, you're about to graduate and go into your senior year, and you're looking maybe for an internship or a job or something like that, I would say there's a couple of things that you're going to want to start out with. One, you're going to want to have a good resume. And I am thinking about creating a separate video on why you're having trouble creating a resume, like why you're getting stuck in your own head. So leave me a comment if that's something that you would like a video on, and I'll try to prioritize if I see some interest. So first of all, you are going to need a resume. That's just the reality in today's world. But you could also do things that would hopefully minimize the need or the dependence on sending the resume out to 100, 200, 300 different companies and hope and pray, or spray and pray, as the sales teams call it. And that is to make genuine connection. So I'm not going to get into networking here. I have very mixed feelings on networking. The essential thing is, though, is you want to look for opportunities to make quality connections where you can add value to somebody who may be able to open doors for you. So yes, in a sense, that's networking, but what you're actually looking to do is you're looking to establish high quality, solid relationships where there is a value give and take between you and somebody that's maybe in a career or in a career path that you're interested in starting out in, or a company that you're interested in working within. Now, if you're a little bit further into your career and you're on the hunt for a new job, there's some variability there because it depends if you are currently employed and you're looking, or if you are unemployed and looking and you have a career history. And for that, I would say that you're going to do a mix of the things that I've just conveyed for somebody who is graduating college, but I would look at the network that you already have, the people that you've worked with in the past, see where they are now, or if they could refer you or recommend you to somebody in a company that is like they know somebody in a company that you're interested in working in. You still have to do your homework, but I have found in the people that I've talked to across the last year of going from corporate life to entrepreneur, I have found an incredible amount of people that are looking for a job or finding a job not through submitting resumes, but actually somebody that they know that knows somebody that they don't know. So I would recommend that as a pressure point. And yes, it requires work. Yes, it requires putting yourself out there and saying that that's what you need to do. But I've seen that strategy be effective over and over again. All right. There's more on that, but that's just like some quick snippets. All right. On to question number 4. How do I stand out when applying for a job? So earlier this week, I was at a panel talk for some university students, and this question came up, and I thought it was a really good one because I have a really simple answer for that. Yes, you need to make sure that you've got keywords embedded in your resume so that the ATS's automated tracking systems will match your resume to the job description and put it in front of a live recruiter. But when the live recruiter is scanning, imagine that they only have 30 seconds. So if you are someone who is just about to graduate and looking to get their first job and you're applying, imagine this. Think about how many students are graduating. Let's just take business students in a given university. There's probably 500, 1,000 business students graduating from each university across the United States this spring. And all of those students are going to be applying for jobs. I believe in the US, I looked up this stat a few months back, I believe in the US that there's about 20,000 business students that graduate each spring. So you are looking to stand out against 20,000 other students who have basically the same resume. They went to school for 4 years. They have a bachelor's degree in some business space. They've either gone to a college or university. You can fight the GPA fight, but I don't think that's the thing that stands out the most. So my number one tip here is you're going to look a whole lot like everybody else on paper. Even the internships, the special activities, everybody's going to have them. There's very little variability if you step out and look from a macro level. So put something on there that makes the recruiter remember you. So for example, I have a couple of examples here. I know somebody that can solve a Rubik's Cube in less than a minute. So put that on your resume. It's a little bit unique, and the recruiter's going to remember, oh yeah, that person that had the Rubik's Cube thing. Like, let's talk to him. Because out of all the resumes, everybody kind of has the same thing, except you have that one thing, which is not really work related, but it's a little bit interesting. It's a conversation starter. It's an icebreaker. It makes your resume memorable when there's a stack of 100 in front of a recruiting team. Somebody from that event said that they can ride a unicycle. That's another really cool one. So what you want to do is share something that's unique without being weird, gross, or too overly personal. If it's too generic, I like to wear sweaters, that's not really interesting. Let's move on to our last and final question, because this is another one that I get asked very, very frequently, and I've been asked this for probably 20 years. And this is a very simple question that you would think you're just like asking the question and you're going to get a really simple, straightforward answer. And that is, how many hours a week do you work? And that's directed at me. How many hours a week do I work? And the thing about how many hours a week I work, how many hours a week I work has absolutely nothing to do with the job that you're doing and where you're focused and where you're headed and what you want to accomplish. It's also changed for me over the course of time. So here's what I believe when someone asks me that question, what they actually want to understand. They want to validate that they're working hard enough, or that they're not overworking or giving too much, or that they're keeping up with the Joneses, if you will. They're trying to kind of level set where they're at compared to maybe where I'm at. So they see me at a certain performance level. So how many hours am I putting in to equate to that performance level? And then they can decide maybe where they want to be. Another reason people ask that is to try to figure out if they are willing to, quote, work as hard as I do. Again, all perception, to get to the place where I got to. Which again, this lends itself to a whole, if I put in more hours or more time, then I will get there, which is also not necessarily true. In some cases it is, in some cases it isn't. So here's what I'll say to that question. Think about what you're actually trying to understand. So this is similar to a couple questions ago. If you think about what you're trying to actually understand there, what is it that you're trying to measure, and what is the question that you actually want to ask? Because there are times in my life where I work 40 hours. There are times in my life where I work 36 hours. There's times in my life where I worked 70 hours for probably 9 months straight, maybe a little bit longer. And then there's times in my life where I've worked 20 hours or 25 hours. And all the variations in between. And for me, at the moment in time that I was working some X amount of hours, it was about what is required for me to get from the place that I'm now to the place that I want to go. And if you're not clear on where you want to go, it's really hard to say what are the things that I need to do to get me there. And if you don't know what are the things that you need to do to get you there, it's really hard to say like how much time you should be spending and investing in getting those things done so you reach that next point. So I would say back all the way up to where you're trying to go and what's required to get there and how much time are you willing to invest to get there. And if you're not willing to invest the time for whatever reason, no judgment on whether or not you're willing to invest the time, but if you are not willing to invest the time right now, you need to ask yourself, is the timing not right for me right now, or am I really not that interested in actually getting there? Like, it's a nice idea, I'd like to be there, but I'm not willing to put in the time that it actually takes to get there, because that's a very different thing. And then you can be honest with yourself and assess, what is it that you actually want to get to, that you're willing to put in time, energy, effort, and money, etc. to get there? Because at the end of the day, those are all tools to get to the place you want to get to. And if you're not clear on that, it's really, really hard to navigate anything. And so me saying I work 60 hours a week or I work 20 hours a week isn't really helpful information for you to unblock how to get to that next step. All right. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this and have a great day. And if you like this content, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn. I post regularly there about business tips, questions, and engage with the community there. I hope you have a great day wherever you are. And that's it from me. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.